Hi, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for watching and for subscribing. And if you're just visiting, please consider subscribing. So today, this is going to be the last video this year, and it's my second video in this, let's call it a year wrap-up series, where I'm going to share with you my best discoveries of 2022. These, could be blind buys. These could be fragrances that I sampled first. They were just best discoveries of this year. Now, as I've done in previous years, these discoveries could be individual fragrances. They could be specific lines from certain houses, or they could be just overall new fragrance house discoveries. I think there's going to be a combination of all of these here. So let's not waste any more time and get started. Now, these are in no particular order except for the last two. The last two I consider my absolute best of the best discoveries of this year. So I'm going to leave them until the end. Now, let's start with this one, which was one of my earlier discoveries this year, and that is Minuit et Demi from fragrance Dubois. This was not a blind buy. This was a fragrance that I sampled, and a fragrance that I never thought I wanted. You know, when this was first announced, when this first came out, I just thought, I don't know. I have not been, the biggest fan of fragrance Dubois, to be honest. I thought, okay, this, some people are saying it's similar to another fragrance that I already have. And I just thought, no, I don't need it. And then I got an opportunity to sample it because a good friend of mine sent me a decant of this one. And well, the rest is history. I fell in love with this scent. And I realized that, you know what? It doesn't matter that I have that other scent that it is similar to. To me, it is different enough. And I love it enough to justify purchasing a full bottle, which is what I did. Now, this fragrance, I think many of you are familiar with it. It is this sweet, spicy scent that has a little bit of coffee in it. To me, despite it being, sweet and spicy, I also think that the scent is quite airy. It's not heavy. It's not dense. It doesn't overpower, it's really nicely balanced together. Now, it's not the best performer, but it is also not horrible. It is pretty decent. And yeah, I enjoy this one so much. I am so glad I got a chance to sample it, because had it not been for that sample, I don't think I would have ever gone for this one. I just don't think, I don't know. I just felt like I don't need it. I don't think it's that special. And you know what? I was wrong, because it is special and it is beautiful, and I'm really, really happy to have it. Next best discovery I'm including in here because it surprised me just how much I fell in love with it when I got it and how much I have used it. And that is Imperium from Electimus. This was my second purchase from this house, and I'm going to show you, I'm going to flip the bottle and show you that I've used up quite a bit of this one already. I don't know. There were very conflicting reviews on this one. Some people loved it, some people didn't. Some said it's very masculine, some said it's unisex. I don't know. And I just decided to try it. I wanted to try it. This was a blind buy, and I fell in love with it. I love these two facets of this fragrance that come together beautifully. That smooth, creamy vanilla, similar to Ani, combined with a lot of freshness and fruitiness that comes from pineapple that is similar to Hachilat. So, when you combine these two sides together, it creates magic. It creates this amazing, sort of sweet vanillic scent, but at the same time, it is quite fresh. And it just works sort of any time of the year. You know, I've worn this in the spring, I've worn this in the summer, I've worn this in the fall. And for me, it worked during all of those seasons. It just works. And yeah, I really think this is one of the best discoveries this year. Okay, next one. This one is, I guess, a bit of a cheat, because I actually discovered this fragrance last year, which is when I sampled it. But I was able to finally purchase it this year. So I thought, okay, since I got the full bottle this year, I can include it. I hope you'll forgive me for this little cheat. This is Isara from Dusita. I sampled this fragrance last summer and it's been on my wish list ever since, and I'm so happy that I was finally able to add it to my collection this fall. This is a very unusual scent. This is a very unique scent. This is unlike anything else that I have or anything else that I have smelled. This will definitely not appeal to everyone. I don't think it's a mass appealing scent. It's a little bit different. Yeah, it's a little bit different, but for me, surprisingly, I loved it. I really enjoyed it. There's something a little bit calming and a little bit serene about this scent for me. And I really enjoy it. I love this little, this little intimate bubble of scent that it creates around me that just is a little bit special. So yeah, I really love this one. Hard to describe. You gotta sample it. I've said it before. I'm gonna say it again. You gotta sample this one. Notes don't do it justice, and I think describing it doesn't do it justice. This one needs to be sampled, but for me, it's quite special, and yeah, I'm including it as one of my best discoveries this year. Next one, I don't think will come as a surprise. It's a fragrance, again, that I've spoken about on multiple occasions. Again, I sampled it first, fell in love, wanted a full bottle, couldn't find a full bottle, and then somehow, magically, it came to me. I am talking about Puerto Vintage from Gustave Eiffel. Very unusual bottle, not the most sort of user-friendly. It's not very, it doesn't feel very comfortable in your hand. It's not the easiest one to use, to be honest, but it definitely looks very cool and very unusual. And you know, the scent to me is also very cool and very unusual. Overall, this is a boozy scent, but it is very different. There is a strong note of anise, and there is a strong note of candied oranges in here, together with these boozy notes. I can't remember exactly what's in here, but something boozy is in here for sure. But you know, those other notes, they bring something really fresh to this fragrance, and something very kind of slightly sugary sweet, like candied oranges. It's really what I'm getting in here. Like, these are not fresh oranges, these are candied oranges. That's exactly what's in here. And it's just beautiful. It's unusual. It's also not a safe blind buy. This is not a fragrance that everyone will like. So you gotta sample this one first if you can find it. But if you can, I definitely recommend it. And I'm so thrilled that I got a chance to sample it first, and then somehow magically was able to get this full bottle. Next, let's talk about a house discovery. I sampled, well, I have 2 bottles from this house. Let's start with that. But I've sampled more, and there are definitely a few others that I liked. But for now, I am just really happy to have these 2. Now, the house that I'm talking about is Pantheon Roma, and the 2 fragrances that I have are, this one is Dolce Passion, and this one is Trastevere. I'm probably not pronouncing it correctly, but you know, I'm doing my best. Now, I got Trastevere first at the very beginning of this year. Totally fell in love with it. It is so beautiful and so unusual. Like, it has chestnuts, it has vanilla, it has some kind of floral in it. I don't know, there are not a lot of notes listed for this one, but to me, I get something very different from it, to be honest. You know, This one smells a little bit nutty, slightly chocolatey, even a little bit boozy, maybe just a touch powdery. Yeah, something like that. It is a little bit sweet, but not overly sweet. It's just very unusual. It's very unusual scent. It's very unisex. Both my husband and I enjoyed this one. Yeah, it's beautiful. And the other scent that I wanted to get was Dolce Passion, which I finally added to my collection a few months ago. And this one is a little bit unusual as well. It is, okay, I'm trying to open it and, okay, finally, the cap is off. It is overall a chocolate scent. There's definitely chocolate in here, but it's not your typical chocolate. Like, it's not overly sweet. It's not overly chocolatey. There are also truffles, I think, are in here, which are really, really nice. Like, they're not as, maybe as screechy as they are in some Tom Ford fragrances. They're definitely much smoother. I also almost get a slight booziness in this one as well. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. I love both of these scents from Pantheon Roma, and you know, I think this is a house that I definitely want to explore more. I want to try a few others. Next fragrance that also surprised me is a cherry scent, and that is Venom of Love from Navitus. I wasn't going to get this one, honestly. When I heard about it, I wasn't going to get it. And then I tried it and I thought, no, I am going to get it. I love it. I really, really like this scent. I really do. It's a beautiful chocolatey cherry for the evening time. I think this is a gorgeous date night fragrance or going out type of fragrance. It is seductive. It is sexy. It is beautiful. It's, like I said, it's this dark, deep, slightly boozy, chocolatey cherry. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. And what I also love about it, and I know that's not the case for everyone, you know, we all have different noses and we perceive fragrances differently, because I did hear from some people that this one does remind them of Lost Cherry. In fact, when I wear this one in a deep dry down, my husband says that this one smells similar to Lost Cherry. But for me, it really doesn't. I mean, yes, I do get that kind of cherry in here that's similar to the cherry in Lost Cherry, but the overall feel and vibe of this fragrance for me is quite different. It's a very much a standalone fragrance in my opinion, and definitely one of my best discoveries this year. Okay, next one is a recent purchase. That is Arabesque from the Merchant of Venice. I heard about this fragrance, I think, from Tara, from Olfactophiles. I think she was the one who talked about this scent and talked about it being similar to Tom Ford Tobacco Vanille. Now, I like Tobacco Vanille. In theory, I had that fragrance and I decluttered it because I liked it in theory. I liked smelling it out of the cap, but somehow I never wanted to wear it. I like... the time that I've had it, I've worn it a couple of times. And when I tried this one, I thought, yeah, okay, I found my Tobacco Vanille, because to me, this one is better. It is smoother, it is rounder, it is a little bit more feminine. It just works for me more. I get a slight cherry vibe in this one, which I never got in Tobacco Vanille. This one is beautiful, and I can tell you honestly that I have worn this one quite a few times already. I really have, and I really enjoy it, and I see myself wearing it over and over again. This is a beautiful, beautiful scent. If like me, you found Tobacco Vanille to be just a little bit too much, maybe a little bit too loud, maybe maybe a little bit masculine, I don't know, but you kind of like that direction in fragrances, I would say sample this one, because for me, this one is definitely a winner and kind of a head above Tobacco Vanille. Okay, I hope this video is not going to be too long. I'm going to try to move faster. The next one that I have on this list is Spontaneous Generosity from the State of Mind. And this is kind of, I would say, an overall house discovery. I hesitate to say house discovery because I only have one full bottle, but I did sample a number of fragrances from this house and I really enjoyed quite a few of them. And I found all of them very different. Like, this is a tea house that produces tea, and now they produce fragrances that are also based on different tea notes. And so you might think that, these tea fragrances could be very similar, but they're actually completely different. The ones that I've sampled, they're all completely different, despite all of them having some kind of tea note. And the one that impressed me the most is probably the most gourmand one out of the ones that I tried, and that is Spontaneous Generosity. Also, kind of thumbs up to this unusual and different looking bottle. It's unique. Whether you love it or not, it kind of depends on your taste, but I think we can all agree that the bottle is unique. Now, the scent, like I said, all of their fragrances are based on the note of tea, and this one has a black tea note in it. It also has tonka bean, it has caramel, I think it might have a fig note in it, probably sandalwood, vanilla, something else. As I've mentioned before, this to me is a combination of caramel and honey. That's the sweetness that I get in this. And yes, of course, tea is here. It's this strong black cup of warm black tea that I'm having together with this caramel and honey concoction. Very beautiful, very warm, kind of cozy, comforting type of scent, and also very, very delicious. So yeah, this is sort of a fragrance and a house discovery kind of combined together. Okay, next one is also a recent acquisition for me, and that is Triumph of Bacchus from Argos. A fragrance that I don't know, for some reason I didn't want to love because it's been hyped up a little bit too much in recent time, in my opinion. But having tried it, yeah, I understand why so many talk about it and why so many talk about it highly. It's a beautiful scent. Beautiful scent. Oh my God, it smells so good out of the nozzle. Amazing. This has some fruity notes in it. I think there's peach, there's apple, there's definitely a boozy note in here, like rum maybe. There's saffron in here, which I don't get. Yay, that's the note that I typically don't like. There's tobacco, vanilla, patchouli, a whole bunch of other notes. And this really has this kind of a little bit spicy, a little bit sour type of apple. I don't know if cinnamon is in here, but I feel like I get this apple with cinnamon. That's kind of what I get. Definitely boozy element is in here for sure. There is a little bit of tobacco, but it is so nice. It is so gentle. It is not overpowering, and it plays so beautifully with the other notes. Yeah, this is gorgeous. I mean, the presentation, the bottle is beautiful as well, and the fragrance is gorgeous. I also have to say, I really, really love the color of the juice. I mean, it might seem to you like a very insignificant thing, but I think it's beautiful and it actually matches the scent perfectly, in my opinion. So yeah, Triumph of Bacchus is definitely one of my best discoveries this year. And so this brings us to the last two discoveries. Now, like I said at the beginning, these are in no particular order except for the last two, because I do consider the last two my absolute best discoveries this year. If you have watched me for a while, I don't think either one will come as a surprise. These, I think, are quite predictable. So let's start with this one. This has been my most used scent ever since I got it. This is a scent that I almost want to wear every single day, and that is Tony Iommi from Zerg Off. I don't know if you can see, But there's quite a lot missing in here already. I am seriously considering purchasing a backup of this one. And you know, I don't do backups, but I think I might need a backup of this one. There's something in this scent that is absolutely intoxicating for me. I just cannot get enough. I just can't get enough. And I keep wanting to reach for this one over and over again. I have to stop myself. I'm like, you know, I have a big collection. I gotta use my other scents as well. But honestly, I just want to reach for this one almost on a daily basis. Now, this fragrance has a bunch of notes. There is leather in here. There's rum. There are some fruity or citrusy notes. There is a passion fruit, of course. There's patchouli, cinnamon, caramel, a whole bunch of other things. Now, for me, I get this incredible combination of this sweet passion fruit. Like it's passion fruit, maybe with some caramel. It's very sweet. And then it's combined with these amazing kind of earthy patchouli. And for me, this combination is magic. I don't get a lot of leather. I barely get any leather at all. Like maybe there is some, I don't know, some just the tiniest touch of leather sort of in the opening, somewhere in the background. But overall, yeah, I don't really get leather here at all. To me, it's mostly passion fruit with caramel, with patchouli, maybe with a touch of booziness, although it is quite light as well. And like I said, there is just something intoxicating about this scent. Like for me, it's the most intoxicating scent. I'm addicted to it. I'm honestly addicted to it, and I just can't stop wearing it. And number one discovery this year. Did you guess? Maybe some of you guessed, I am sure. Number one discovery is going to be a house discovery for sure. And that is Fuegia 1833. Yes, I consider this my absolute best and the most exciting discovery this year. I fell in love with this house. Now, the fragrances that I have now, I have 2 full bottles, like 100 ml bottles. I have chocolate and I have Ambrosia or something like this, you know, hard to pronounce names. And I also have a 30 ml bottle of La Cautiva, and I have quite a few on my wish list. You know, I sort of have this separate wish list just for this house. You know, I did a wish list video recently. Have you watched it? If you haven't watched it, you must. I'm gonna link it somewhere here. But, you know, I sort of have a separate wish list just for this house because, yes, it is extremely expensive. It is overpriced. It is overpriced for sure. But there's something special about it. There's something unique. There's something unusual. There's something very different about it that just works for me. Now, this house is definitely not for everyone. This is not going to be everyone's cup of tea. It is very different. It is very unique. Do not blind buy these fragrances, any of these. You gotta sample them first, but they do sell samples of all of their fragrances on their website. So I do highly recommend sampling first and then deciding if this house is for you. But it turned out to be for me. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. Definitely a bad thing for my wallet because, like I said, these are extremely expensive, but absolutely beautiful. Now, I've talked about all of these fragrances individually already, so I'm not going to go into details. Chocolate obviously is about chocolate. Ambrosia is about passion fruit, and La Cautiva is vanilla with blackcurrant. Sort of putting it simply, but in reality, these fragrances are a lot more complex than that. So yeah. Fuegia 1833 takes number one spot as my best discovery this year. So please share with me, what have been your best discoveries this year? I would love to know. Now, before I end this video, because this is the last video this year, of course, I want to wish you the happiest of New Year's. Hopefully you enjoy your holidays, and hopefully the new year brings you only the best. That's definitely what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that I leave 2022, which was a very challenging year, behind, and you know, there will be better things ahead, which is what I wish for all of you. So happy new year, and hopefully I will see you again next year.